With the announcement and discourse regarding remakes and new renditions has become even more rampant with the announcement of Dawn 3 and Ranveer Singh and Kiara Advani being cast as Dawn and Roma, I thought of talking about the movies that took it up a notch. Remakes of iconic movies that either through their storytelling, casting or just by making the right tweaks in the original screenplay surpassed the original films. This is going to be a hugely contentious topic as everyone has a special place for some of these original films, but hey, we are always open for debate in the comments below. It sure will get spicy and heated. I also want to discuss with all of you 3 categories that will obviously not be included in this video. We all know films that have absolutely ruined and butchered the original source material, whether it be the embarrassing Yariyan 2 and how it absolutely took away every single aspect of what made Bangalore Days special, especially for the Malayalam speaking audience, or the offensive nature in which classics like Zanjeer and Sholay were remade, ruining careers and prospects for artists. Before I start the video listing out my favorites, I want to also reference movies that did not make it to the list. These are remakes where the cultural context of how they are remade make it special, versus necessarily having to do anything with the original film. For Hindi-speaking audiences, Hera Pheri will always be special for the unique nature in which the comedy was executed, the chemistry among the 3 main leads, and especially the portrayal of Babu Rao Apte by Paresh Rawal. This does not discount the brilliance of Ramji Rao speaking, but just that the Hindi film audience associates a huge repeat value to the remake. This is true for Chiranjeevi's Shankar Dada MBBS also, a remake of Munna Bhai MBBS, a movie that the Telugu audience absolutely loves, for the cultural context and comic timing which is very specific for those native to the state. They knew the audience they were making the film for. Similarly, the Hindi film audience loves Bhool Bhulaiya for not only the comic timing of actors like Akshay Kumar and Rajpal Yadav, but the conviction brought by Vidya Balan to a complex and iconic role executed by many actors across languages. The Malayalam audience, however, will always put the original film above any rendition. So the cultural context of movies aside, I have also left out movies that are adapted from plays or books. The iconic adaptations of Shakespeare's plays by Vishal Bharadwaj, which are just unmatched in quality, or the beautiful nature in which OMG was adapted from a Gujarati play. So finally, getting to the point of when Bollywood remakes just hit it out of the park and made me specifically think it was better than the original, here is Tried&Refused Productions with top 5 Bollywood remakes that are better than the original film. Murder 2. This may be an unpopular opinion, but Murder 2 is one of those cases where all the creative risks taken by the makers simply worked. The remake of a South Korean film The Chaser, Murder 2 had nothing to do with the first installment and transitioned the genre from a romantic revenge thriller to a serial killer cat and mouse chase. While the South Korean film is engaging, disturbing and packs the punch from an investigative thriller point of view, I think Murder 2 really took the eerie and creepy themes of the original and enhanced it even further. I think one of the main reasons why Murder 2 became such an engaging watch was the character outline and portrayal of Dheeraj Pandey by Prashant Narayanan, a psychotic serial killer who despises women. The origin story of Dheeraj and what compels him to kill women is exceptionally etched out, straight out of a horror movie in many ways. The interrogation of Dheeraj where he cries wolf and fakes not recalling several important details about his own life only to drop a truth bomb of mercilessly killing innocent women brought chills to my spine. The character sketch of chasing this monster as he eerily sings Bhige Hot Tere while approaching his prey elevated the film to become more than just a cat and mouse chase. It's one of the few times where a remake especially surpassed the original owing to the creative choice made by the makers regarding a character versus making significant changes in the screenplay. This performance by Prashant Narayanan is really slept on. Tere Naam. This is by far the most contentious movie from the list, as I know that the Tamil film audience absolutely loves Sethu and what Vikram was capable of pulling off with the role. But I can't further enunciate how Tere Naam and Salman Khan's role as Radhe became a cultural phenomena. So much so that it is still remembered today when we notice the rebirth of toxic characters as main leads in Hindi movies. There was a manic and unhinged energy to Salman that was unlike anything that the Hindi film audience had seen. There was a lovable and warm quality to Vikram in Setu, but there was a thick wall and distance with Radhe, almost as if he was beyond repair, even before he was head over heels for Nirjara. The obsession and deranged quality of Salman seemed like a more psychotic version of Setu, deeming it fit to kidnap the woman he loves just in order to express how his devotion cannot be matched. You were scared of him. And this was the reason for the massive polarization people had regarding the movie. I must say that Ilaiyaraaja's music is achingly beautiful in Setu, especially as it sets in the climax of the original film. But I personally feel Salman really lost himself in this role. Him breaking down at the very sight of Nirjara's corpse, helplessly walking away, avoiding his loved ones, surrendering to his fate in the mental asylum, now that his only purpose has perished, as the sad version of Tere Naam played in the background, it's just etched in my memory. I know this is a contentious one because I personally love Vikram, but Salman as Radhe was really something else. Dawn. Many people speak about the backlash that Shah Rukh Khan received when he was cast as Dawn, for the love people had for Amitabh Bachchan playing the suave anti-hero. What many people forget is that the outrage against Ranveer as Dawn is less to do with the choice, but more to do with the fact that SRK is still in his prime, and he could have easily pulled off a more veteran Dawn today, versus the time when SRK played the role of Dawn. Amitabh Bachchan had already transitioned to do supporting roles of fathers or patriarchs in movies like Mohabbatein, Baghban and K3G. Amitabh Bachchan was way past his prime as the leading man when SRK was cast, versus today where SRK fans just would have loved him to reprise the role with his salt and pepper mane and beard in full display. With all the pressure, SRK and Farhan Akhtar really formulated a delicious rendition of a classic Hindi film. SRK was on top of his game. He was sinister, sarcastic and cheeky, fitting the bill of a gangster who will never take no for an answer with ease. Priyanka Chopra as Roma shared some sizzling chemistry with SRK, and it's tough for me to think of anyone else in these roles as we get accustomed to the new pairings of Dawn 3. The stylized action sequences and performances were only a part of what elevated the remake. But what was the cherry on the cake in my opinion was the climax twist concocted by Farhan Akhtar. In the original film, Dawn is dead, and Vijay exposes the likes of Vardhan, but the remake beautifully played a double whammy with the audience, as Dawn pretended to be Vijay all along, dropping the truth bomb with the iconic dialogue to Roma, "Mujhe bhi jangli billiyan bahut pasand hai." While the original was simplistic with Vijay proving his innocence, the remake made the dreaded gangster be ahead of the curve, switching bodies as Vijay was getting all the scars identical to Dawn in the same hospital, manically laughing in the air in the climax as he gets away with the most diabolical manipulation. I was 12 years old with family watching this, and I remember my jaw dropping looking at my elder brother for answers. The climax of the remake is a work of beauty. Ghajini. When talking about Ghajini both in the Tamil and Hindi language, I will of course not reference Memento, a far superior and complex product compared to the Indian renditions. Ghajini, however, presented Aamir Khan in an action avatar like never before. This was a ripped and bald Aamir Khan having given everything physically to a role, much like Surya working with Tamil director A.R. Murugadoss. Remaking this was quite the intimidating task, a time where the exploration of other languages by the Hindi film audience was non-existent. While Surya is exceptional in the original film, what elevates the Hindi remake is the screenplay, music and emotional arc of the relationship between Sanjay and Kalpana, which I believe is far more effective in the Hindi film than the original. If you see simply the scene where Kalpana hands over the money to Sanjay to not sell off his fictional land as the song Kaise Mujhe Tum Mil Gaye plays in the background, you'll notice the emotional depth of what has happened in a far more intense manner than the original film. I also feel like scrapping away the idea of the antagonists being twins provided a way more believable approach for the remake. Yes, the original film has the same villain, but he plays a double role. The action sequence as Aamir goes on a killing spree to eliminate Ghajini in the narrow streets is way more grounded and impactful, captured in a gorilla-like manner with handheld movement, versus the over-the-top tonality of Surya beating up the goons in the courtyard of the hostel. The emotional arc and doomed romance is further heightened in the beautiful climax of the Hindi film, as Sanjay is volunteering at an orphanage and is handed over the cement pad with Sanjay and Kalpana's foot impression, imagining Kalpana by his side. They just made the perfect changes to make it so much more emotionally engaging than the original. Agneepath. It is quite the intimidating task to do a rendition of a classic like Agneepath. A character so specific and stylized would not be touched by most. But Karan Malhotra really put his best foot forward in not only staying true to the classic, but elevating it even further by making it a revenge saga for the ages and presenting characters straight out of a graphic novel. The character traits of Kancha Cheena in the original film played by Danny Din-Zongpa is pretty straightforward. A stylized businessman partaking in heroin smuggling. Imagine looking at that character and bringing your own crazy rendition of it in the remake. A monster scared of his own reflection, a towering figure with the devil-like demeanor. This bald-headed savage and the king of Mandava was an antagonist for the ages, an image of Sanjay Dutt like never seen before. The creative elements of the original film that involves a Mithun Chakrabarti playing Krishna Iyer MA have definitely not aged well, but where the remake of Agneepath really became a Bollywood mass film like never seen before was the characterization of Rauf Lala played by Rishi Kapoor, a heartless pimp who can kill anyone that compromises his business. The performance by Rishi Kapoor was pure evil, and it genuinely made you root for his end. Hrithik as Vijay, rather than mimicking the iconic role, brought his own brooding charm to him, fully embodying the presence of a man consumed by revenge the moment he eliminates the enemy in a crowded beach during Ganpati and introduces himself as Vijay Dinanath Chauhan, with the iconic score of Ajay Atul being presented in all its glory. A brilliant aspect of Agneepath that also solidified its superior quality was the post-apocalyptic depiction of Mandwa, devoid of any joy and where morality is dead. The climax and its execution as Vijay annihilates Kancha Cheena and recites the poem that was said to him by his father made this one of the best revenge sagas ever seen in Hindi cinema. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below which remakes do you think elevated the original film. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.